you a quick overview about Moosiko, and then just jump right into the demo.
Sure.
And just curious, so you did guitar, drums, and ukulele. Okay, perfect. So yeah, we have been around about 5 years. Started right at the beginning of the pandemic, basically, when teachers needed online learning tools. And I used to teach guitar growing up. I taught privately for many years and kind of developed this practice methodology based on PowerPoint files. And then that turned into kind of the Moosiko platform. So we support about 12,000 students now across maybe 400 or so districts in the US and a couple international as well. We support guitar, which is what we kind of started with, and then we have ukulele as well. And in the last year, we've actually added songwriting. So we don't have a drum specific kind of component today, although that's kind of the goal. My kind of vision is adding the modern band instruments, bass, drums, keyboard, and then maybe vocals at some point. I do believe that the future of music education should be modern band type of music. So it's just a browser-based platform. You can see I'm in a Chrome browser here. The way we add students, I'll get to, but students simply log in using their Google credentials or Microsoft. Makes it really easy. Like, we don't store passwords. Oftentimes the students are logged in with their Chromebook, so it just takes them in. You can see we support both guitar and ukulele. And we've got about 400 songs in the platform from the 1950s all the way through today across a wide variety of genres. Most of our songs are in English, but we have songs in Spanish, in Korean, in Japanese. I think that's about it. All the songs kind of have been student requested over the last 5 years. So we have songs from, we can go to the 50s here, and we have like La Bamba, Elvis tunes, and then we can go all the way through the decades to kind of your latest. We have BTS, Taylor Swift, all the latest stuff. The chord filters across the top make it really easy to find things. So, we support basic chords, bar chords, 5 different types of strumming patterns, a number of melodies, which I'll show you, and then some common scales. We can easily filter by like 2 chord songs, which are probably our easiest, and then like 6 plus chord songs, which are more complex. And then the kind of favorite filter is this chords filter. So I can quickly filter like what are songs that have a C, D, E minor, G in it. Here's all the songs that have those 4 chords, and then I can search like, here's the songs that have exactly those 4 chords. And so it makes it easy for you to find material, but students often learn this chord progression and they're like, okay, I can play this really, really well, but what songs can I play? Right? Students really want to just play songs that they love. And then we can search by song key or lesson key. We do transpose about half of our songs into easier keys. Like if the song is an F, like a beginner's not going to learn like an F bar chord off the bat. So let me just hop into like a rhythm guitar lesson. All of our lessons are structured in kind of a similar fashion where we take a song, we break it down into bite-sized pieces, and then help students practice, every step of the way. So the first thing for, this Elvis song here is to learn the D chord. Students can dive in and they can see like a photo of, the exact fingering, pointing out some good habits to get into, and also kind of we can call out bad habits to avoid. And so, an image here of kind of the incorrect, finger position as well. So students often like to kind of toggle back and forth and be like, oh, this is the right way to get that nice clean sound. We have audio files on every slide so students can hear like, okay, here's the nice clean sound of how it should sound. And then probably hear a lot of this early on in the semester. So students are like, oh yeah, that's what I sound like. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I can go back to the image, or I can ask a friend, or they can ask you like, I need some help. And then at the bottom where you really see this, like repeat 20 times, take a minute break, repeat another 20 times. So we really focus on practice. Once you've got a nice clean sound, well, now students can practice, strum with just their thumb. Again, repeating kind of this motion. And then we add a new chord, G chord. Once we've learned 2 chords, well, now let's practice the transition back and forth. Again, practicing this transition. And you'll get the hang of this. We build in breaks, we learn the new chords, and we slowly build up new chords, new transitions, until we get to a chord progression. let's see, a lot of transitions here. Here it is. So, right, so students are not practicing this chord progression. So one of the things we do see is that like students come into a class and they may know actually quite a bit, right? They may have learned a lot from their uncle. They're actually quite good at guitar or ukulele. Others have never touched it before. And so students that obviously know some of the basic chords and whatnot, they can move ahead more quickly. Students that have never touched the instrument before, they can take their time. And so it provides that kind of differentiated learning. Um, at this point, this is the song basically, and at any point, actually, students can dive into their song sheets. You may be familiar with Ultimate Guitar, which like is very cluttered and ad ridden, and everything is probably most things are inaccurate there. These are super accurate. We keep them very clean, and then we color code them so students know exactly when to transition. We have the little chord icon, so like, oh yeah, it's the 2-finger chord, or it's the triangle chord. So just some visual cues to help students kind of start to translate the kind of the muscle memory into the music. Some other kind of things on our song sheet page, we have a metronome, so like I can select a hi-hat, and then we can actually, this is an auto scroll feature. Can you hear that? This is quite a slow song, I suppose, but we could slow it down any further, right? For songs that are maybe 120 BPM, students can slow it down and really practice it at a slower speed. This is my favorite feature because it scrolls to the actual true speed of the song, so I don't have to like stop and scroll manually or flip the page or whatever. It does not play the song through the platform here because we're not a streaming service. We actually will share with you our Spotify playlist, but for licensing reasons, we pay licensing for sheet music, but we don't want to pay licensing for streaming. That's a whole other can of worms. Another thing to add is we have a video recording feature. So at any point on a lesson or even on the song sheet itself, students can actually click this button and it will record them. So, I can get my guitar, I can play the song, and I can stop it and I can watch what I've done. I can redo it if I'm not happy with it, or I could submit that and that goes to the teacher portal, which I'll get to in a minute. So some teachers like to use it as assessment. They'll kind of be like, okay, like we just learned the D to the G transition. Go into Moosiko, pick any song you like that has that transition, play it, but I'm going to grade you on specifically that transition. And then at the end of all of our lessons, you'll see this kind of like complete button. I know how to play this. And when students click this button, what we do is we capture the skills in that song lesson and then recommend, okay, here's some songs to add next that add a new skill that the student doesn't yet know. So a new chord progression. I use this account a lot, so the skills are pretty built up. But students can then scroll through and be like, okay, like I want to learn, Blake Shelton tune. They can come in here and we actually highlight like in green is what the skills that they know and in gray the skills that they don't know. So they can just jump to like this. Like I haven't yet learned this specific chord progression. And we track all those skills in my journey. And so we can see, all the chords I've learned here in green, and then here's the chords I haven't learned. And so like, okay, let's learn an A sus, right? Well, the free falling is the classic example. So there's one song that we have, with an A sus. There's probably a bunch that have a G7. Yeah, so I can go learn a song that has a G7 and kind of add another skill to my tool belt. Same thing with chord transitions. There are a lot of them, but again, it kind of gives students a good visual of like, okay, here's what I know, here's what I don't know. Let me go bite off something new. So we track all those skills for progressions and strumming, melodies, and all the lessons that they're learning. And we track practice time. This is really just the time in the app. It's kind of like a counter. But it is helpful when students kind of don't practice over a couple of weeks. They come in here and they actually look and they're like, oh, like I haven't practiced. That's why I'm falling behind. So just a nice little indicator of like, if you want to learn music or learn an instrument, like you really do have to practice. And consistency is key. And then this is the dumping ground for all the videos. And so here's the one that I just created. And it's kind of nice to like for students to have this portfolio of videos of like little snapshots throughout the semester or the year, where they can kind of go back at the end of the semester and watch the very first video that they ever created. It would be quite a difference, right? They can kind of see the progress that they've made. On your end, you'll actually be able to annotate these videos, and so you can provide feedback on a specific video. Nice work, keep the thumb behind the neck kind of thing. We'll get to that in a few minutes here. That's the rhythm kind of lesson, and the songs are the same for ukulele. Obviously, we just use different finger positions and images. Let me just show you a melody lesson. We've got a bunch of the kind of popular ones, right? Day Tripper, Layla's probably the most difficult lesson we have, just because it's so fast. Sweet Home Alabama. So La Bamba tends to be a popular one. Same philosophy. Like, let's take this little riff and break it down into bite-sized pieces. Like, let's learn that, practice that like 10 times, right? We show the tab, we show the staff. You actually can toggle the visibility on that. Some teachers like really care about not showing tab or not showing staff. So you have that control. Right, let's learn the second bar. Now let's put them together. And so building that muscle memory, and off we go. What is cool is we do have, like, let me look for La Bamba here is a good example, actually. La Bamba. So we have this little 3 dots here indicates that it's a rhythm guitar lesson. This is a melody guitar lesson. So one student can learn the rhythm, one student can learn the melody, and then we can kind of support a duet. And so we have, I don't know, maybe a dozen or so songs where we have both the rhythm and melody of the same song. My kind of vision is to do this with across instruments. And right now you can do it with ukulele, of course, but like have someone learn the keyboard part, someone learn a drum part, and someone learn the guitar part, and now you're supporting kind of a band together. We're not there yet, but it's the direction we're headed. Let me stop here and just see if you have any questions so far.
Yeah, so do you by chance have it's like when it comes to like the rhythm practice, like the chords, do you have an option for like say like a younger student who can really only support maybe like a triad or 3 or 4 note chord rather than a full open chord?
Um,
Other than
you mean instead of doing a G, they just do that bottom string?
do like yeah, like the third fret on the high E string plus the open G and B and like strum that way rather than going for a full 6 string G chord?
We support the like common chord structures. So like the A is all of them. I guess only the D is like, because this is the bottom 4 strings. So we don't. I will say, yeah, this is a common question I get, is some teachers just kind of like tell the students, like on the G chord, just do the bottom string or something like that. Yeah. It's a nice feature though. Maybe we could add, like, you could select, I want this type of fingering option for the G for my class.
Like in creating, I guess, a variety of difficulties, right, for that particular lead.
Yeah.
So then I'm
What
guessing
grade? I'm just curious. What grade are you teaching? Is it younger?
I teach all ages. I have
Okay.
4 all the way up to 50 some year olds. So I don't work for a school. Is this geared more towards like a school district for district classes or
So we can do both. Yeah. So you just have a private business?
yes.
Yeah. So we can do both. I mean, you can go on it today and sign up. I definitely focused on schools just because the like group learning, where you've got 30 students is like really hard for a teacher.
Yeah.
So that's where we find our biggest fit. But I could set up the same type of class for your business, and you could actually do a similar thing and give students access. You can actually put your own logo up here, so it's kind of personalized.
That's cool.
At one point, I don't have them anymore, but at one point, someone used this in their private business, and they just used it as an upsell opportunity. It's like $10 a month for students, and uh, so we charge $5 a month for the student. You do 10, and you keep the $5 kind of thing.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, you can run it however you want. Like, you use it however you want, but just something to think about.
You like can I create a song chart using your software and have it available in your program, or is that something that you would need that you guys do on the back end?
So we do it on the back end. We've always done it to ensure kind of like accuracy and quality, but we have a songwriting tool where you actually could create a chart, but not the lesson.
Okay.
So let me walk you through this, because this is what we use for songwriting, but it kind of will maybe will fit your needs. So Here's our songwriting builder. On the left is the kind of like Google Docs kind of canvas, and on the right are all the building blocks. So like, here is my first verse or whatever. And let's say I want to add like a chorus. So let's do chorus. So I just drag this over, chorus here. And let's say like, okay, I want to write a song in C. Here's all the chords in C. And so like I could just drag it over. So you could build out, if you wanted to build like a chord chart, for a song, you could certainly use this tool to do that. And we do have a like export to PDF here. But this is designed for songwriting, right? And so like we have a rhyming thesaurus, so rhymes with like verse, a rhyming and thesaurus dictionary. So just some like lyrical tools. We obviously have a lot, like if I want a G7, right? We have the advanced chords in here, so we can search for that. And there's a whole record feature, right? So as I'm writing out my song, I can actually go and record like a guitar part that I'm thinking about, or like, oh, here's the vocals I'm thinking about. And oh, you know what? The Zoom actually may be impacting the record feature. Yeah. So I could, just kind of stop and play this. Let me just see for a second. Yeah, I think my Zoom sharing maybe. Oh, there we go. Okay, so record a couple seconds or record a bit, and then that should show up here, right? And so let's say this is like, I don't know, the melody verse or something. And so you have like your section over. So you kind of get the idea, right? This is our songwriting builder. But if you're looking to just build the chord charts, like certainly you can use this tool to go and easily do that. Yeah.
Can you have students collaborate in the same space, like if for like a class?
For songwriting?
Working on the same document, right? Like adding,
Yeah.
recording like ideas, having them in that sidebar, dragging and
Yeah.
dropping. Maybe not necessarily like in real time, like a Google Doc, but they can all collaborate on the same
They can.
project, and leave each other like notes and things in the side.
Yeah. So let's say like here's my personal email, right? I can send this to a friend and they could come in here and they would get access to this. They would edit access to this and they can do exactly that. So yeah, it is not, I wouldn't say it's not as like, I don't see like the red cursor and the blue cursor. We're like not quite that sophisticated, but like I could work on the verse, they could work on the chorus, or they could work on the lyrics while I'm doing audio. And then yes, we have a section in here for notes and ideas. So they could like populate notes and ideas in here. We have actually song prompts. We have about 250 song prompts in here. So students could literally just shuffle through and just to like get the juices flowing. And I will show you, we have a mobile app too. That is a songwriting mobile app that students can do this, or users can do this like on their phone. You want me to pull that up right now?
Does it look similar to this?
Just in a mobile app form, yes.
Yeah, if you don't mind, it'd be cool to see that.
Yeah. We just launched this like 3 months ago, so I get really excited about it. Do you cover songwriting in your business?
We have offered and we do offer songwriting classes. So I'm just thinking like if this is something, I mean we've tried using Soundtrap in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And we use it. We don't use it anymore, but we still offer a production class that we would use it with. But I would just think that this would be something easier um, for students to get into and collaborate on because you don't need to have any sort of production experience knowing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Soundtrap is good. Second. It's a good DAW. A lot of this, students, our K-12 customers use it as well. Our app is not a DAW. Why isn't it showing up here? Usually it does. There we go. but you'll get the gist. Okay, so here, here's the song that we were literally just building out. Oh wait, nope, it was this one. So same kind of thing, right? I can go and I can add a song structure, like a new verse, new lyrics here, and I just tap above the lyrics to add a chord. Right? I'm just tapping above A minor. There's a record. I can record on my phone too. I would say, the notes show up here. So the one difference with the app is we have a section called My Seeds. And so this is kind of like a dumping ground for ideas. And so like, here's all my like song ideas that I just like had. So like I have a tomato garden in the summer, and like every year, like something sucks. Like the tomatoes are good, but the cucumbers are awful. And so like I had this idea of like no such thing as a perfect garden, and I was just like kind of writing my notes in there. Maybe someday it'll turn into a song. We do have an AI feature, which is really cool. So like take this idea and then we just like give me some like expand on this idea into some like song ideas. And so we'll actually go and like take your kind of your notes here, your thoughts, and kind of put them into a song idea like the Tomatoes Lament, right? A melancholy folk ballad that explores the unpredictable nature of garden. These are actually kind of pretty good. Bounties ebb and flow, bloom in the face of adversity. The names are the best. They come up with some really good ones. So again, just to kind of like get the juices flowing as a songwriter. And then we have lyric ideas. So like, this one I think is a Taylor Swift quote or lyric. And then audio ideas. So like I just like, here's a cool little lick I like, or here's a chord progression I really, really like. I can just quickly capture that idea and then maybe I'll do something with it later. But, especially with like teenagers, everything is on their phone. And so we try to make it really, really easy for them. And you can actually, you can just go and download this today if you just wanted to try it out. So I'll just put it in the chat. If you just look up on the Play Store, Songwriting Notebook, by Moosiko. Look up on the Play Store or the App Store. Songwriting Notebook is the name of the app. You can download that and kind of futz around with it. And you can actually, you got it. Yep, that's it. And it obviously like it pairs with the desktop version, right? And so let's say I go write a song on my mobile version, like it's going to show up here in my desktop version.
So if you were to refresh that page, would it have showed the notes you just put in the mobile app?
Yeah, this is the new verse that I just added here. Yeah. Yeah, it's all the same code base. And then if you just go to my.moosiko.com, that actually is the, you can sign up for a free version of our product as well. So we do have a free account. You can sign up. You get 3 songs for free. And then our paid plans, it's unlimited songs.
Pretty cool.
So yeah, it's the kind of the private business, is it's not new, but it's a little bit more rare. I don't know, is this something you think would be helpful? Like it could help your business or your students?
I definitely think so, especially with classes and I know that Mary, my direct report, is gonna jump in on the 26th. She just messaged she was gonna join and then she'd like to connect. So like the original question I had, before we jumped in the songwriting thing, which was cool to see. So like, there's no way as a teacher for me to log into like a teacher portal and to use Moosiko to like, let's say you don't currently have like Johnny Be Good or something. Can I go in there and create the materials to then be used, and like your team could double check my work, but basically it's kind of like
Not today,
putting.
but what we do, we don't let you do it today. We want to get to it. It is kind of a bit of an expensive like piece to build to the platform. So we want to get to it. It's just kind of about priorities. But if there's like some definite songs that you want us to add, like we will add it. if it's reasonable. And we definitely do this with some of our customers. When students are like, I really want this song, we'll add it for you. So, if it's like 5 songs or even 10 songs, it's fairly quick for us to add it. You can just tell me what those songs are, and you can even tell me exactly, you know, here's how I kind of want the lesson to play out. And I'm happy to just be to accommodate that.
That's great.
Yeah. There is a teacher portal though. So I will show you this because you have the ability to kind of like create a class. Like if it's just your business, you can probably just kind of create one class. And then you add students to this, and then they have access. So once they've been added here, then they can just log in and they get access to the whole program. And of course, you as a teacher can dive into a particular student, and you can see your students' skills, your students' practice times, the videos. We have we call it our assessments page, but this is the dumping ground for all the videos. And so, when you'll be able to see, like, this is the student that submitted it. It was on this date. I was learning "Don't Be Cruel," and then here's the video I just did, and here's kind of where you do feedback. So you can send a note feedback, or you can send a video feedback if you wanted to describe something on video. And again, that would get appended to the student video that was recorded. Nice work, whatever. You can download the videos if you want to. And we also have like the same visibility for songwriting. So a lot of our teachers, like they do songwriting units, but then they want to be able to like assess or just get visibility into what songs the students are looking at. And so again, like here's a view into the student, those 2 students have written 2 songs and here they are. A whole bunch of settings. We do have explicit songs in the platform that have the F-bomb in it. We're pretty liberal about what we add, but some teachers may not want that. And so we can hide explicit songs. We just follow the recording industry standard. And uh, and then we can add specific songs too. So like a good example is we have ukulele customers who 5th grade ukulele, like Margaritaville is one of our songs. Not explicit, but teachers don't want to expose a song about drinking to like a ukulele student. And so for K-12, we have to put in some of these censorship controls. I think that's it for like your teacher portal. Yeah, in the future, like it'd be great to be like add a lesson and you can have a whole lesson builder yourself. Um, it's just a little bit. It's usually quite a bit of development work.
So like if I were to, so basically if I'm understanding this correctly, if I were to create an active class and just called it private lessons, I could add all of my private lesson students in there and give them each their own task work, or will they all see the same work because they're all in the same class?
They will all. There's no like task or assignment in the program, but they will all see this, right? They'll log in and they will all see this. They'll see your little logo in the upper left, but they will have access to all of our song lessons. Now, if you wanted to assign a specific thing, what most teachers do is they just go in and they copy the URL. Like, I want you to learn this song and just send
Right.
the URL.
It's not like I create a class and say, okay, class, right now we're gonna learn Brown Eyed Girl, and then I'm kind of monitoring their progress for the week and check in person. It's they log in and they just pick whatever they want and just start learning it, right?
You could, yes. So some of our teachers do a free for all, pick whatever you want, and just learning it. Other teachers are a little bit more structured. Well, they'll say, pick a song with a B7 and a G. Let's say that's what you've taught them in their lesson or whatever. They go in and they'll find a song with a B7 and a G, and they're like, oh, I really, let's say they're Hispanic, right? Here's our Mexican song.
Okay.
This one here. Let's see what I can't even read it in Spanish. So again, it's up to you on how like specific and controlled you want it to be. Some teachers want everybody to learn a specific song, and they'll just copy the URL and say we're all learning "En menos de un minuto."
Right, but it's not like that they log into their account, go to the class, and it shows that, hey, this week we were learning the key of G, 1 4 5 6 chords. Here
Yeah,
is a song, and it's the specific song that I said.
yeah,
They click and go, but they have to just go search for it and do it. All the while
that's
they
right.
start going into other chords and other songs, right?
That's right. I will say, like in the school setting, there's a learning management system, right, which is doing kind of all the things you're talking about. They have their class, they can have a common chat, are assigned assignments. Like the reason we don't have that here is because it's a whole different product suite that schools already use. Um, so I would say, yeah, we're not like a learning management system. We're like this practice platform and songwriting platform.
There's no way for a teacher to limit a student from just going all over the place other than hiding explicit songs, right?
Uh, that would be hard. You could technically do it. We do allow um, you to hide specific songs, right? Like let's say I didn't want like La Bamba. Like I could go in here and hide La Bamba, but you'd have to do this
For like everything.
like 300 songs. Yeah,
Right.
that would
I,
be
I wouldn't want to do. I see. Yeah, because like we use Google Classroom for
yeah,
all of the classroom
yeah.
organization stuff. I'm just thinking out loud of just, is there a way to, and this doesn't work with Google Classroom, right?
No, it does. Yeah. So again, like in what functionality? So like adding students actually, we have this import through Google Classroom and Microsoft Teams.
Okay.
So it's really easy to add students, but in terms of like assigning a lesson, if you assign a lesson through Google Classroom, you just have to copy the URL of that song and put it in the Google Classroom lesson or assignment.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a matter of going, hey, I've noticed that you've been practicing more of a Blink 182 song and I didn't assign that type of thing. Like, let's talk
You
about
could
it. So,
you could do that. Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So I encourage you the best way to kind of get a feel for it is to log in and play around with it. Just go to my.moosiko.com and sign up with one email, and you'll be able to just do the same, on both the app and the desktop. And then, I don't know, maybe let's check in like next week or something, or maybe if you want me to talk with your colleague, I'm happy to do that. I'd love to kind of hear about how you want to use it in your business.
Yeah, I know that she'll be on the 26th for your call then.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I'm gonna see about playing around with this, especially the app, the
And let
songwriting.
me also send you, I mean, I can do this in an email if it's easier. I don't have to put it in the chat here. Um, but if you click on that link, is just our Moosiko Spotify playlist. Uh, it is, it's the easiest way to see the catalog of all the songs. So there should be about 300 in there, 350 maybe. Um, Going through our platform, I mean, at the bottom you can kind of like scroll through, but I think it's easier on Spotify. So,
Okay. Yeah, I got it up here. Look at that.
and again, if like you want to onboarding students that want certain things, like certain songs, I mean, like it's pretty easy for us to add, and you just gotta. It takes about maybe 5 songs we could do in a couple weeks, 10 songs, maybe 3 weeks or a month. Um, we're pretty flexible.
It's good stuff.
Okay. Any other kind of questions?
Not at the moment, but I
Okay.
appreciate the time and letting me ask some questions out loud for sure.
Yeah, no problem. Awesome. Well, I guess yeah, maybe after next Thursday is our next kind of session on this.
Yeah,
I'll meet your colleague and I can follow up then and just see what you think.
sounds good.
All right, Jordan, have a great rest of your night.
Thanks.